Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Straits Times Roundtable on this topic: why should the privileged give back to society in Singapore, and how?
Why aren't we doing more if we all agree that there is inequality in our society? I think the fundamental problem is we don't know what we're talking about, right? So if I ask you, the audience, is there inequality in Singapore? You'll say, of course there is. What kind of no-brainer question is that? But so then I'll ask you, what exactly is that inequality? When was the last time you were able to observe one, and what was that distance? And therefore, what we need to do then to plug that distance, right? Before you can act, you need to see. Otherwise, we are just paying lip service.
I think governments, and I've said this, many times before, should lead by stepping back, by allowing NGOs, foundations to step into a space to co-create solutions with them. But this starts with sharing data more freely, talking about social problems more openly. Because if people cannot, the issue is that people are not seeing the issues and discussing it. And if you don't do that, people think, oh, everything is fine. I mean, why do I need to even lift a finger?
Yeah. Knowing what is on the ground is very important. So we try and do learning journeys. And when you go on these learning journeys, it is not just identifying what is not working, but it's understanding the lives of the families and the poor who are living in these rental blocks. And when the families share, they are often not sharing about only their struggle, they are often sharing about their triumph. So this is what I'm facing, this is how I came through it, and this is who I am now, and this is what I hope for my children in the future. Even as they share it, I think the discerning donor would notice the disadvantages they have that can't be resolved by money. So there's only some part that can be resolved by money, and I think we are focusing on inclusion. So how do we include these families in mainstream living, right? And that is the part where many people can make a difference. So if you're not privileged by wealth, then are you privileged by time? Are you privileged by your sense of connectedness with the rest of society, that you offer opportunities through many contexts you might have? Bring your social networks, let people participate in society.
I think one large group that has really helped the cause has been the younger people, the millennials, for example. I love them. They come with this sense of wanting to change the world, and in a way I've learned that they can, if we give them that platform.
Media is so powerful. So for the young journalists in the room, don't think that you are just somebody's minion. You're not. You have so much power. Choose to shine it on the right area, because many Singaporeans do not see that encounter unless you go down to volunteer. Avoid the tabloid news. Who cares whether the starlet is going out with getting divorced or whatever? But focus on the human.
They sell
stories.
newspapers.
That's why we got to shift our values, right? But focus, help us to see where the needs are. Then you touch lives, right?
If you see every problem is a nail, the only solution you have is a hammer. And I think it is not giving too much or too little, is what are we giving that is making a difference. We first have to analyze what are we giving towards, what is the basic minimum that a family needs to survive. How can philanthropists or other Singaporeans participate in making life bearable or above bearable in Singapore? And when we start the conversation, we never ask them, what is it you want? We always ask them, what is it you can give? How would you like to participate? When you start a conversation that way, I think people then step out with their best possible offer, and they will say, let me come and volunteer, let me have my children participate. So it is really about what is it that we can all give?
If there is one or two things you believe, we should do and we have to do to improve, all the problems and issues that you have raised, what would that be?
Work-life balance.
Okay, you start first.
Work-life balance. Work-life balance is the answer to a lot of things. See, the problem now is that we just don't have enough time, right? We don't have sufficient time. And if you don't have sufficient time, you tend to be a lot more self-centered, because you're always worried about yourself, whether you're able to achieve your work goals, whether you can keep your job, whether you can strive for that promotion. But when we have that space and time to think, then you can start to do a lot more, right, with your own contributions.
And a social issue is not a problem to be plugged. It's actually an opportunity for community to come together, which is my strong belief. So step out, look around, and participate is what I'd say.
And you know, when I have someone who is very sort of well-resourced person comes in, gives the gift of presence, and they find out, oh, actually I need to do more research, and he pumps in money into research. And so it's a rippling effect of just being there. So my encouragement is to come, experience it, enjoy community, and give.
Volunteer and engage broadly first before you start giving money, even.
Before you write the check.
Before you write the check. And that part of it is encountering and understanding the issues, but part of it is also exploring what is the area that you would resonate with most.
The more conversations we have about some of these issues, the better able we are to understand some of these issues, which will help us become the sort of society we want to be.